And now, live from the Steele Twins recording studio in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan, and from Casa del Freytown in Taylor, Michigan, the Steele Twins Gaming presents the Outside Blitz. Here are your hosts, the fabulous Scotty Freytown and the Cannonball, Alex Steele.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Outside Blitz. I am your host, the fabulous one, Scotty Freytown, along with my co-host, the Cannonball, Alex Steele. And, man, we got a big show today. Well, not really a big show. It's kind of a bite-sized show. Alex, we are in the lull of the NFL offseason. Yep. It is the lull. The off-season, the preseason lull, if you will. Yeah, it is. The news has not been coming in fast and furious, but there's still stuff going on. There's some things that have been happening around the league, so we're going to jump into that. And Alex, we've got the epic return of an episode you and I like to call, I Believe. And that's where we give
right. It is bold prediction season here at the Outside Blitz. We love to have fun with these every once in a while, where you'll hear, you'll see a lot of parlay action. Maybe you'll see something that sounds completely ridiculous. But I can see it happening. Or if just something that just comes in the brain, just comes out of left field, and then comes right back in the middle of the season. Yeah. Like I know one year I did predict that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would clinch the NFC South, and I believe this was 2 years ago. The Falcons would sweep the Bucs, but the Bucs would win the division, and that's what happened. So.
Oh yeah, we get those all the time, and you nailed that one. Look, these are going to be very fun. We're going to jump into those. Boots not joining us today. That's okay. He has had a crazy life in the last couple of weeks. We're going to have Boots not next week. We're going to, and so I said we're going to have a little peek behind the curtain here. Next week, I myself will be on vacation, but don't you worry. We're not going to be live next week, so there will be no live episode. However, we will be still getting an episode up on all of our podcasting avenues here. So you can find us on
our platforms.
You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on Odyssey. You can find us on Spotify. Thank you. You can find us Apple Podcasts. You can find us on all of our platforms. And you guys can have a listen, and we will be posting those regularly. And it's going to be every Saturday morning. All those the new podcast episodes are going to be going up, so you guys will be able to listen to those as normal. We're going to have one in the can for you guys, and we're going to be posting that on Saturday. So I'm very excited about that. So we will have a fun episode for you guys. And then on July 11th, we will be live with the Bootleg Better, and he's going to be giving us his bold predictions, and we will be finally going over his season predictor for the 2026-27 season on July the 11th. So that is the hope anyhow. Things can change, but the hope is that that's what we'll have going on. We'll also be jumping into the NFL Top 100 in the next couple of weeks as well. So I'm excited. We're ready to rock and roll, Alex. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
Now,
absolutely, and don't forget, keep your ears peeled, your ears and eyes peeled. The Hall of Fame game take place on Thursday, August 6th, 2026. Now it's going to be a lame duck matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. But by the time July 11th rolls around, we'll be less than 30 days from football.
Yeah,
so to speak.
But who wants to see that game? The Hall of Fame. Like I understand we get football, but who wants to see that game?
Right. This is like it's ugly. It is rather ugly. But I guess the other good news you could possibly glean from this is that the rest of the preseason will start on Thursday, August 13th. So again, a month from football.
A month from football, which is kind of exciting. Now, we got some news around the league, Alex. Just not a ton of news, but some sort of crazy news. Especially in your world, Alex, and your Lions have some stuff going on.
Boy.
Yeah, Lions corner, Terrion Arnold. He was arrested and charged on Thursday in Florida with leading a plot to detain and pistol whip 3 people who he believed had stolen from him. These are crimes that attributed to 8 felony counts that could carry a sentence of up to life in prison. I'll read you the article from NFL.com. 2 people that were also charged in the case have pleaded guilty and have agreed to help the Tampa area authorities prosecute Terrion Arnold, according to court records. Fame doesn't get you out of criminal charges or our pursuit of justice and holding criminals accountable, says Tampa Police Chief Lee Burkaw. 3 men in their late teens were held at gunpoint, battered, pistol whipped, and robbed in a Tampa apartment on February 4th, police said, 3 days after personal property worth more than $250,000 was reported stolen from Arnold and others at an Airbnb rental in Largo, about 20 miles west of the city. It turned out, however, that the victims had nothing to do with the theft. According to investigators, Arnold, 23, was the primary conspirator in the attack. He's absolutely denying these allegations, defense attorney R. Timothy Jansen said in Hillsborough County Court. Arnold briefly appeared in court by video as the judge announced the charges of kidnapping, armed robbery, and conspiracy. He surrendered to authorities on Wednesday and will remain in jail at least until a detention hearing on Monday. Denise White, the CEO of EAG Sports Management, an agency that represents Arnold, said that there's no credible evidence against him, only accounts from others who may have an incentive to get a lighter sentence. At least 7 people face charges, including 2 women who pleaded guilty Wednesday and are cooperating. Jasmine Randazzo, 19, was immediately sentenced to 4 years in prison for kidnapping, conspiracy, and robbery with a gun, records show. The victims told police that Arnold's friends lured them into an apartment, held them at gunpoint, and hit them, all while streaming the attack to Arnold. Police said Arnold was giving orders in a group chat and later arrived at the apartment. No one has the right to take the law into their own hands. A dispute over missing property does not justify kidnapping, violence, or retaliation, State Attorney Susie Lopez said. As you know, Terrion Arnold, he's a first-round pick in 2024, played in Alabama. Listen, this guy is he hasn't had the best NFL career. I'll start there. He has been heavily ridiculed by the Lions faithful. He has been heavily sort of made fun of really around the league as one of the worst first-round picks to come out of that draft class. He has not been a good corner. I wasn't a big fan of Terrion Arnold when he got drafted. The Lions, they've been made aware of this arrest. They declined to comment. It's been an ongoing thing. I mean, I know the Lions, they just kind of have this next man up mentality. We're going to see if Rock Ya-Sin is the guy that's going to be the next man up. It's just a lot of craziness. I don't understand what in the hell is going through Terrion Arnold's mind. First of all, who in the hell has $250,000 laying around an Airbnb rental? We'll start there. I'm just saying. Just throwing that out.
It was $250,000 of personal property. I mean, what kind of stuff got stolen?
Well, yeah,
it's like when did somebody steal his car? I mean, come on, what are we doing?
Yeah,
and obviously, Terrion Arnold's hanging around people that'll snitch on him. So I mean,
yeah.
Listen, it absolutely doesn't defend what happened here. It's hard for me to sit here as a Lions fan, but it started with him getting burned at corner. It started with him, just dropping assignments, getting torched by receivers, and now it's more off the field BS. He is you put it succinctly. You put it succinctly in one word. Bust.
Yeah.
And I've got three more words for Terrion Arnold.
Yeah, he's a dummy. Yeah, it's exactly.
Dummy.
Yeah.
My hands are washed. You know, I mean, it's hard because we need all the help we can get. You know, in Detroit, I say that almost all the time. But at the but there's got to be a point where it's like, you know what, this guy's just bad news. He's bad press. You know, people say, press, not this stuff.
No.
So you know, if you're trying to develop an identity with this city and this football team that are full of hard workers and people that you know just get their nose to the grindstone and just get the job done. You don't need stuff like this hanging around your football team.
No, and the thing that gets me about this, you know, first of all, when it comes to the draft pick, I wasn't a big fan of the Terrion Arnold draft pick in the first place. I didn't like the pick. And I think that draft for you guys has just been cursed. I mean, if you look at the players that have come out of that draft, and it's Rakestraw, Giovanni Manu, Broderick Straw, or what was it? Broderick, Rakestraw has barely seen the field. He's been hurt. Terrion Arnold wasn't even the number one corner on his own team. That's the thing that got me. Like, you drafted this guy first round, and he wasn't even the number one corner in that spot. It was Kool-Aid McKinstry, if you recall. He was the true number one corner at the University of Alabama that year. So it was the pick itself was a little baffling to me. And it's not to say that Terrion Arnold had a bad year, but sometimes you see this where a guy is taking on the number two receivers, and yeah, he's having a hell of a year, but he's taking on a bunch of number twos. You know, so is he actually that good? Is he actually able to compete with the number one guys? You know, it creates the question. So I don't really know if Terrion Arnold was ever it or ever should have been considered it. And we're kind of in that position where it's like, who is this guy? Why? And then when you see the off the field bullshit, and that's what it is, it's bullshit. You see that stuff, and you're just like, man, this seems like an awfully big waste of time. He really does. He seems like a waste of draft capital at this point. And I don't blame Lions fans for just being like, I've already had enough of this guy. Most Lions fans at this point, everyone that I've seen, talked to, whatever the case may be, has said, ship this guy out of town, get rid of him. And the crazy thing is as far as corners go, there's only one corner out there that I could actually see the Lions picking up. And it's funny. Trayvon Diggs is still out there. And I could see that happening. You know, that could be a possibility for Detroit.
Be a hell of a upgrade, I'll tell you that much. I mean, Trayvon Diggs, had a monster career in Dallas. So had a cornerback of his caliber, coming to this team. I mean, are the Lions going to be smart enough to do it? Are they going to be smart enough to pull the trigger and get him in? I mean, we've seen good moves from this team before, but the Lions fans have said, over the course of the past couple of years, in Brad we trust. I don't.
Me neither. And that's it's going to be an interesting thing to see how the Lions maneuver the salary cap with all the money they've got wrapped up in like 7 players. You know, it's a wild thing to think about. But you could get Trayvon Diggs on a 1-year deal. It could be a positive thing for Detroit. It's kind of interesting, but right now they're very thin at DB. Right now, their defensive back situation is rough. So you gotta figure out what's going to happen in Detroit. We'll see how that winds up going. Speaking of drama, Brandon Ayuk, the saga continues. Brandon Ayuk has come out and said that he will immediately sign with the Commanders if the 49ers grant his wish for a release. So the first question that I have for you, Alex, is do you think the 49ers will grant his wish for a release, or are the Niners going to hang on to him and be spiteful throughout this whole process?
It's a wash because San Francisco does not seem to be an organization that deals in pettiness. But there may be a financial reason where they're going to try to make the decision, the most fiscally responsible decision for their organization.
Yeah.
And if that includes keeping him on the staff, you could put, according to the article here from the Associated Press, you could put pressure on the 49ers to make a decision if he shows up when the 49ers report the training camp on July 25th. And until he reports, the 49ers keep him on the reserve list without counting the salary cap to the roster limits. He's got 3 years left on his deal, including nearly $25 million option bonus due before the start of this season. But he didn't have any guaranteed money.
Right.
So he's kind of up shit creek without a paddle here. Yeah. And it doesn't help that he had an arrest warrant issued by Santa Clara County on a misdemeanor charge of exhibition of speeding in response to a video he posted to social media last December that appeared to show him speeding on the road in front of Levi Stadium. So you dummy.
Yeah. More idiotic stuff from Brandon Ayuk. I mean, it's just
if you're sitting there calling your team stupid for paying money, it's like they gave you the bag because they made an investment in you, and you did not deliver. So they have every right to be pissed off about this.
Yep. Not only did he not deliver, but then he threw a hissy fit, and left the team last year for seemingly no reason. I mean, Brandon Ayuk has not come through. And the fact that there are players actually standing up for Brandon Ayuk as though he didn't do anything wrong or hasn't done anything wrong. Brandon Ayuk has been a prima donna clown show, in my opinion, for the better part of really the last year and a half. I mean, really, he improved year over year over year over year. And then he had the biggest year of his career. He had that 1,300-yard career year. And then it was like, well, what now? And he gets hurt. Okay, he got hurt. It sucks. But then you're hoping he's going to come back, and then he doesn't come back at form, and then he just disappears. Doesn't return to the team. It's like, what are we doing here? I'm a little baffled by Brandon Ayuk. I don't know what he's doing, what he's thinking. It's very Antonio Brown. It really is. And I just...
So yeah. And here's the other question that we must ask ourselves. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, the 49ers do grant Brandon Ayuk his release. So you're joining now a wide receiver core that includes Jaden Bradley, De'Ami Brown, Treylon Burks, Chris Hilton Jr., Van Jefferson, who had some success with the Rams, Jacoby Jones from the Raiders, Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey, who actually has quarterback experience, Scary Terry McLaurin, who's he's in his 30th year of being on this planet, and his ninth going to be his ninth season with the league.
Yep.
Nick Nash, the 2024 pick, and then rookie Antonio Williams. I mean, obviously, you have to make decisions on who's going to make the final team and who are going to be the top 4 receivers on that team. Scary Terry is number 1 with a bullet. Maybe put Brandon Ayuk number 2, but at the same time, who would be backing him up or the Commanders? And you got this guy.
Oh, I would definitely put him at number 2. It's just it's one of those things where it's like, who winds up being behind him at that point? They have a depth issue at wide receiver. I'm a little surprised that they didn't pick up probably another receiver in the draft, a little more high-end receiver in the draft or in free agency. I'm surprised that the move wasn't made. But De'Ami Brown is a good receiver. So, I mean, I would probably put De'Ami Brown at 3 and Brandon Ayuk at 2. But De'Ami Brown does play a significant role, especially as a deep threat on that Commanders team. So, I mean, that's probably what I would do. I'd put McLaurin, Ayuk, Brown as my 30 now. So... You're age 30, that's around the point where we're hitting the back end of the roller coaster here. We're on the back end of that hill. We're going down. So We got to see how that goes.
We're on the
but
back nine here.
Yeah. So we got to see how it goes for Terry McLaurin. But at the end of the day, Brandon Ayuk still battling it out with the Niners. Guys that aren't battling it out with their respect. I'll be honest. I think it's a little expensive for Brenton Strange. I like Brenton Strange, but I do think that's a little high of a price tag for him. He's good tight end.
Do you think that's strange?
See what you did there. It's
listen. That's low hanging, brother. I mean, it was right there.
Yeah. Little bit of a.
I agree. It's a bit. I agree. This is a bit much for Brenton Strange. I mean, he had this weird height, around him in the latter part of the season last year, and good for him. But honestly though, this guy he didn't really light it up the way we thought he was going to. He was only 46 for 60 and for 540 yards.
Yeah.
So it was an 11.7 average. He did score 3 touchdowns. It is the most productive year he's had. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not much more productive than he was in 24.
Yeah, is it $16 million a year? I don't think so.
That's next 16 year. I'd probably do 13, maybe 12.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth 16.
I'm just being generous.
But these are the types of players that, especially down in Jacksonville, Liam Cohen, he gets these obscure sort of players that he likes, and he's like, this guy is my guy. It's a Liam Cohen guy. And Liam Cohen is going to get those guys, and he's going to keep them in the door. That's what he's going to do, and that's his guy. Brenton Strange is definitely a Liam Cohen guy. So he's going to keep Brenton Strange in the door. I mean, at $16 million a year, I think it's a little pricey, but hey, more power to him. And he's just going to keep cashing them checks. So good for him. Also, Kyle Pitts. The Falcons go out and sign Kyle Pitts to a 3-year, $54 million deal. He gets $18 million per year.
Kyle effing Pitts.
Listen, I still, at this point, I don't know what in the hell Kyle Pitts has done to get all of this hype to get $18 million a year. I just don't. I don't. I don't get it. I don't get the Kyle Pitts hype.
It's hard for me to understand too. He hasn't broken 1,000 yards since his rookie season in 21. He had one of the most ridiculous fantasy statistics. Which I'm trying to remember what game it was.
Yeah, it was like against. It's like a 3-touchdown game.
The Bengals?
Yeah, it's like a 3-touchdown game. He just, it was like, it was absurd. I remember what you're talking about, but my issue with, and I will find that game, but my issue with Kyle Pitts is, and he's coming off one of his better years. I'll hand that to him. Yeah, 11 receptions for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. But like, if you look at the rest of his year, I mean, outside of just on the back end, okay, here's the yardage output: 59, 37, 39, 70 and a touchdown, 18, 62, 59. Not bad. But then 38, 38, 14, 25. So nothing. 82, 90, 166, 57, 16. He's like the Tyler Lockett of tight ends, where he'll blow up huge, like a week or 2, maybe 3, and then he disappears for 5 weeks. He has he's very streaky, I guess is the best way to put it. He's very streaky. This last year, 928 yards, 5 touchdowns, and they want to keep him there, I guess. I don't understand the Kyle Pitts hype. I don't get it. If you look at his previous years, 1,000 yards in his first year, 356 and 2 touchdowns. And I think the touchdowns are kind of funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm hoping we're going to get 6 touchdowns this year out of Kyle Pitts. I expect 6 this year, Kyle. We're going to improve by 1. But
yes,
he did catch a lot of passes this year. I can give him that. He had 88 catches this year. So that was a lot of catches for Kyle Pitts this year. But yeah, a lot of questions about him and his production and what exactly Kyle Pitts is he trending in the right direction? Is he going to be a huge part of Kevin Stefanski's system because it is a new head coach? I want to see what he how he ends up doing in this new current system with Kevin Stefanski, who has been pretty good about using tight ends. So we'll see how he does. Is he worth $18 million? Not in my opinion, but I guess that's neither here nor there.
And I guess you have to say that with Kevin Stefanski, hey, at least it's not. Why am I saying Albert Morris? But it's offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, Raheem Morris.
No, Raheem Morris was the head coach last year.
Yeah,
he was the idiot head coach before Raheem Morris. Oh my God, that's gonna bug me.
Oh, Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith. That's right. Yeah, at least not Arthur Smith. Number one receiver.
Yeah, exactly. Also, just a nice little one here, and I thought this was a good signing. The Cowboys go out and sign defensive end Charles Snowden to a 1-year deal. He played for the Raiders for the last 3 years. Last year, however, had a breakout year, 70.5 PFF grade with a 68.3 pass rush grade, 62.3 run defense grade in 2025. It was a breakout year for him. He went undrafted out of Virginia in 2021 by the Bears. He's kind of floated around the league, but last year he did pick up some starts with the Raiders and had himself a nice little season. So just on a 1-year deal, I mean, I know he's been primarily a rotational player throughout his career, but I do like this signing by the Cowboys. Helps kind of boost their defense a little bit. And obviously he's probably going to be a rotational DN, but I do like this pickup by the Cowboys here of Charles Snowden. So not a bad move, a little under the radar signing on a 1-year, low risk, high reward. I'm here for it. Aren't you?
Yeah, me too. He had 20 out of 15 games played. He had 28 tackles, 17 were solo, 3 sacks, and an interception for 18 yards. Yeah. So if you generate a turnover, you're sure to turn heads at least, slightly.
Yeah.
Good pickup by Dallas here. Like you said, rotational player. He might come in if one of the higher end Ds gets hurt. So he would prove himself to be a backup. But I totally agree. It's a good signing.
Yeah, considered an edge, but some folks have him written out as an outside linebacker. Some people have him written out as a defensive end, but in my knowledge, I generally see him as a D end. And then last but not least, a guy we talked about extensively in the last couple episodes, the NFL has informed quarterback Brandon Sorsby that they will not be holding a supplemental draft this year, making Sorsby ineligible to play for the league in 2026. Sorsby's attorneys intend to sue the league in order to challenge the decision. They say it goes against the collective bargaining agreement. They say that it goes against the law. They say that they say a lot of stuff right now, but Sorsby, so this has been an ongoing thing. So basically my summation of everything, and Alex, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So Brendan Sorsby last year, he bet on football games that he was playing in. After betting on the football games and then getting caught and then admitting to it, the NCAA said that you are not eligible to play. He sues the NCAA, wins the suit with the NCAA, and they say, hey, then he's got to be able to play. And everybody was allegedly, quote unquote, disgusted by it, all the ADs and whatever the case may be. The NCAA then appeals the decision. It gets reversed. So then his eligibility changes again. So then he tries to go into the supplemental draft, and the NCAA says, or the NFL says, nope. You're not bringing that shit over here. And they are forcing him to enter the 2027 NFL draft. NFL has cited integrity issues as far as the gambling and whatever the case may be. It's been a wild thing. This has been a wild ride. So first of all, if you're an NFL team and the supplemental draft does happen to take place, are you taking a risk on Brendan Sorsby at this point, or are you saying, no, thank you, I've seen enough?
I think if you're an organization that's QB room is nice and tight, hell no. It's like I don't want the drama. I don't want the situation. You know, it's like this is the National Football League, and I laughed while you said that. You know, the goal goes against the CBA. Oh, it goes against the. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. As much as we don't like. You know, Commissioner Roger Goodell. As much as we don't like some of the NFL owners, they are without question some of the savviest people in football. They know the ins and outs of the laws. They know the ins and outs of the league. They know the ins and outs of the sport. You know, and the business side of things. You know, this isn't like some hasty judge going, oh, watch the kid play. No, that's not what this is about. This isn't, you're gonna ruin this kid's dream. You're gonna cause irreparable harm. I'm like, how the fuck are you bet on your own team?
Yeah.
Times were tough. You bet on your own team, and then you shit the bed intentionally. You know, in November while playing for Cincinnati.
Yeah,
like intentionally. And you know, at least that's the specter of doubt that you've cast with this story. And Yes, the kid needs help. Yes, he needs to get cleaned up. He needs to go to rehab. You know, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a second chance, but at the same time, NFL's not going to deal with that. They have way too much skin in the game with the sports books that they sponsor. That sponsor them.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's do you really want to cast more doubt on a league that's rapidly becoming they're already under a microscope about officiating. They're already getting flack for And people are already suspicious because DraftKings and FanDuel, they're sending them money.
Yeah.
So you want to keep that partnership, that business partnership as clean as you possibly can. And this is just going to muddy the water.
Yeah, then I agree that you already have people who a lot of people, there's a lot of folks out there, let's just face the fact, that talk about script writers and this and that. I mean, Hell Boots, who said here all the script writers won't let that happen. He's said it on this show before, and granted, he's been saying it in jest, but we've heard this stuff before from people. We've heard that narrative before. So for these types of things to be going on, it doesn't help the narrative. Right. And so now we're in a situation where, I mean, essentially he was basically point shaving at this stage, So, I mean, are you really going to roll with this? Are you really going to take the risk on this kid? I mean, you saw what happened to Calvin Ridley a few years ago. I mean, we saw what happened to him and how the league came down on him when he was betting on, his own games and whatever the case may be. And they came down on him hard. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with Sorsby. But to me, I don't think this is a fight he wins here. I think he's going to wind up going to the 2027 draft. I think that he's going to, when he goes in the 2027 draft, I don't think he's going to get drafted. I think teams are going to go, no, thank you. And they're going to just leave him sitting there and he'll be an undrafted free agent. And if somebody does pick him up, it's going to be a long shot if somebody does. And I don't know that he even sees the field.
He definitely won't see it the first year. If only because even if we start talking about sit the quarterback and let him sit behind a veteran. But at the same time, it's like, the hope is that he will take the year of 2026 to get healthy. This has potential to turn into a real underdog story.
Mm-hmm.
So Brendan, if you by some twist of fate are listening to my words right now, Mr. Sorsby, get help.
Yeah.
Clean your act up. understand that you've made mistakes, you can't come back from them, or you must atone for them, and then when your time comes up, if your time comes up in the 2027 draft, or you get picked up as an undrafted free agent, use the time that's being given to you here to build up your character.
Yeah.
Who knows? I've actually got one more little story I want to bring up here because I was looking around. Former Bills quarterback Jim Kelly says he was hospitalized after a stroke he suffered in the spring, according to the Associated Press. He was to quote him, I had a little setback about a month and a half ago. Right now I feel good. Eyesight's not great. My hearing still sucks, but that's part of life. It was part of a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new Bills Stadium.
Yeah,
and that's going to be interesting because on September 17th, when the Detroit Lions come to town, that game will be played in that new stadium.
Yes,
So Kelly, recent tests were clean for him, so good. He's obviously a Bills legend. He underwent a combination of surgeries and chemotherapy in 2013, 2014, and 2018 because of various forms of cancer. Having gone through that myself, I can tell you, it's no easy. I got the long end of the stick. I got lucky. But if you had to get chemo 3 separate times and you're still standing, hats off to you. I think that it's good to see that Jim Kelly's still hanging around. Keep hanging tough, my friend.
Yeah, we love some Jim Kelly around here. Guy's a legend, and especially in the '90s football. Man, I loved watching Jim Kelly growing up. Guy's phenomenal. Just a great dude all around. But Alex, we've got some bold predictions to jump into in our segment we like to call "I Believe." And I have my 5 bold predictions ready to rock and roll. I'm sure you have bold predictions ready to rock and roll. So yes, I am going to kick off our I Believes with one of my more tame I Believes. And we're gotta start slow.
Hook them early, but then hit them with the right hook later on.
Yep, I'm going to start nice and slow. And this is one that I think everybody probably sees coming from me, but it's a little about face from last year. We'll say it is. However, I believe that it's about to get a little yucky in New Orleans. Saints quarterback Tyler Shuck will finish in the top 10 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, passer rating, and will be in the top 7 in completion percentage during the 2026-27 NFL season. I think Tyler Shuck, I've been talking about momentum and how momentum is a big thing. Tyler Shuck, if you looked at the last 8 games of the year, he was just phenomenal. And a lot of people were just not paying enough attention to him because the Saints just weren't good last year. But in the back half, Tyler Shuck was really good. And I believe that he is going to have himself a really nice year. I think momentum is going to carry those guys through. They did nothing but improve their team in the draft. And I think that they got Chris Olave, an extra weapon. I think Chris Olave, look, he's got the blood clot in the lung, but he's going to be fine. He's going to wind up, kicking out and coming in week 1 and making his way into training camp. We know that he's going to be okay. At least I hope he is. But Tyler Shuck, I think, is in line for a huge year. I really do. And he's going to take a big step forward this year. Top 10 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, passer rating, and top 7 in completion percentage this upcoming season. So that's my prediction for Tyler Shuck, my bold prediction, my first one.
So let me make sure I'm getting this documented right. Top 10 passing yards, passing touchdowns. What was it?
Passer rating,
Well, we'll figure this out. So, passing touchdowns in the league right now on your end.
All right.
On my side. But the audio that the fans hear from the podcast may actually tell you different.
Okay. So I will. I'm gonna. It just popped up twice. It said, "Welcome to the Outside Blitz chat room." So I don't know. And actually, it might have restarted our live. But that's okay. We'll be all right. But so I threw out there, Tyler Shuck will be finishing in the top 10 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, passer rating, and he'll be the top 7 in completion percentage during the 26-27 season. I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback this upcoming year. Phenomenal. So
I absolutely. You said it yourself. Momentum is money.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't say exactly that. You believe in momentum, but as we all know, momentum is money. And Tyler Shuck is he's in position to prove us right. Hope he does it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, give me yours, Alex. What do you got?
So this one's kind of a simple one. I mean, it's possible, but you're probably going to look at me like I got lobsters crawling in ears. Fernando Mendoza will not start at any point during the 2026-2027 season.
Wow.
I mean, it's just something just tells me. I mean, listen, and the reason why I make this such a bold prediction, I mean, the Raiders didn't get him number one to have him warm the bench for a whole year. And who's to say Kirk Cousins won't get hurt sometime in the middle of the year? That the probability is very high.
Yeah.
But as we've all said, the great quarterbacks always sit for that first year. Plus, I don't know. It's just sometimes I just get these thoughts, and I'm like, you know what? I see it happening. Kirk Cousins can have
There's hopes up. Don't go doing that. I know them all too well.
I know you checked out of the Kirk Cousins hotel a long time ago. The second he signed that sick deal with Atlanta, you were off the bandwagon. I don't blame you.
I was off that bandwagon much earlier than that, but well, you think Mendoza's not going to start. Well, I got something interesting for you here. Carson Beck. He will win the Cardinals starting job by no later than week 6. And I think it's going to happen when Jacoby Brissett is benched. Beck, on top of it, will have over a 500 record in the games he starts this season after he's named a starter. I like Carson Beck, and I think some people have been underrating him a little bit. I think people kind of crapped all over him after the national championship game, and nobody just thought about the fact that, hey, this guy went to a national championship game. But I think Jacoby Brissett gets benched. I think Carson Beck takes that job, and I think Beck is going to be over the 500 record in the games that he starts this season when he's named the starter. I think he's that good of a quarterback. I think for a guy who wound up being a 3rd-round pick, I think he's just been undersold to a lot of folks. And as people have been crapping on this guy, I'm like, look, he went to a national championship for a reason. There's got to be something there. And I think
they're not seeing the forest for the trees here. Really, he's being slept on. I agree that this is it totally makes sense. And it absolutely could happen. I really think that Carson Beck has an opportunity, especially with his starting, his experience as a starter, because he's been in college for so long. But he'll know how to start a football game. He'll know how to lead a team.
Yeah, I think and I don't think it's, and that's why I don't think it would be a surprise if he beat out Brissett. I don't know that it would be, but one thing that I threw out there, that's why I threw in, he's going to have a 500 record in games he starts after he's named. But once he's named the starter, and I did say he's going to be named no later than week 6. But I think he's going to wind up in the games he starts, he's going to have a 500 record after that point. I think no less than a 500 record. I really do think he's a winner. I do think he's going to come out firing. I think he's going to have a better rapport with the receivers. I think him and Harrison are going to have a better rapport than Harrison had with Brissett. I think he's going to have continue to have a rapport that Michael Wilson has been having with this hodgepodge of quarterbacks that he's been having, because Michael Wilson blew up last year. It's going to be an interesting little thing for these guys. But I like Carson back over there with Arizona. Alex, what's your next one?
So the next one. Okay, so my next bold prediction. I believe all 4 teams in the NFC North will have 10 plus wins.
Wow, there you go.
I mean, we kind of saw it in our season predictor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at this rate, it is the most competitive division in the league. We're not really seeing a whole lot of parity here. I mean, granted, every single one of the teams got more than 9 wins.
Yeah,
but we're talking double digits here. So it'll be interesting to see. And the NFC West kind of almost pulled it off. Were it not for the Arizona Cardinals going 3-14, but we digress. I don't think there's a bad team in the bunch.
Nope.
The Lions' easy schedule does kind of play into this. But at the end of the day, you know what? 10 plus wins. I'll do you one further. And all 4 teams will make the playoffs.
Oh boy!
There you go. A twofer.
Man,
that's bold, because I mean that's if most of the time if you've got 4 teams that are vying for a playoff spot and 3 of them have already made it, the only way that the 4th is going to make it is if they make 7.
Yep, that's it.
That has to be the only way to do that.
Yep. So that would be huge. Here's one for you. I believe that the New York Jets will fire head coach Aaron Glenn by no later than week 12 in the NFL season. And then on top of it, the person who takes over for him will finish the final stretch of games with no less than a 500 record in that span of games, with Cade Klubnik as their starting quarterback. They're going to start, I think so. Aaron Glenn's going to get fired. The new head coach is going to come in, name Cade Klubnik the starter, and they will go no less than 500 in that stretch. I think that Aaron Glenn is likely cooked. I think they had a good draft over there, but I just don't think Aaron Glenn is a good head coach. I think he's more of a coordinator than anything. And it's some guys are better coordinators.
And it does not help that he went to the New York Football Jets. One of the worst organizations in football.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's no excuse. You have to show up and show out if you want to prove your mettle as a head coach. Some people are better coordinators and head coaches, and it's looking pretty likely that Aaron Glenn is going to be one of those people.
Yeah, I think Aaron Glenn is going to wind up losing his gig, unfortunately, and I don't want to see anybody jobless, but I do think he's going to wind up losing his gig. He'll land somewhere as a coordinator, but I don't think Aaron Glenn is a good head coach. As a defensive coordinator, I think he's good. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. I think that goes without saying. But at the end of the day, I think that the guy who takes over for him is going to wind up going at least 500 in that final 5 games. So they at least got to go 3-2 because they have a bye week there in week 13. So they at least got to go 3-2. And they're going to do it with Cade Klubnik as the starter. I really think that's coming because Klubnik is the backup there.
Here's my question. Who does take his place? I mean, they have to name an interim head coach. Do you think they just promote the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or do they get somebody from the outside?
I think they're gonna usually they just promote from within at that point, and then they just kind of roll with it from there. I mean, if you find somebody from within that you can promote, and then they do a good enough job, a lot of times that person will be like, hey, you want to take this job, you're going to be my next head coach, and a lot of times they'll wind up as the head coach, and a lot of times that doesn't work out in the long term, but you see it all the time in the NFL, and it wouldn't surprise me if the New York Jets did just that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex, your next one.
So here's something. You'll laugh when I say this one.
Oh God.
Kyle Pitts will gain exactly 6 touchdowns this year. For less than 700 yards.
Yeah. I think that's where he's headed to.
It'd be kind of funny to see that. He got 6 touchdowns last year. Well, he only caught 700 yards worth of passes.
Yeah, if that. I think the 900 was something of an anomaly. If he kept on the trajectory that he had been on and hadn't had a 166-yard game, we'd actually be having a different conversation about Kyle Pitts and where he ended up. Statistically, we'd be talking about him as like a 750-yard tight end, which still isn't that bad, to be honest with you, for a tight end. But at the end of the day, I still am not on the Kyle Pitts train. But 6 touchdowns would be hilarious. I'm going to continue hoping that he has, like next year, if he gets 6 this year, I hope he gets 7 next year. I just hope the trend just continues. Next, let me talk about. We're gonna dip into the Johnny Depp thing. We're gonna talk about parlay. That's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about parlay when it comes to Captain Jack Sparrow. I have a parlay here, Alex. This is a little big one. It's a big stupid parlay. It's not my Vikings one, but I'll save the Vikings one for last because I think it's ballsy. But this one I think is one that I do basically every year, and this year I've decided to roll with it again. This is Titans running back Nick Singleton will be named, and he will beat out Tony Pollard as the RB1 in Tennessee. Raiders running back Mike Washington will be named, and he will beat out Ashton Genty as RB1 with the Raiders. Broncos running back Jonah Coleman will be named and beat out J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey as the RB1 in Denver. And the Commanders running back Katron Allen will be named and beat out Bill Krosky as RB1 with the Commanders. I think all 4 of those will happen this year. I think you're going to see a changing of the guard in all 4 of those places as the RB1s. And I can send you all 4 of those, Alex, because I know that's a lot to type. But
I got it. So you can send me after. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. I can totally see Mike Washington beating out Ashton Genty. Jonah Coleman is a very interesting thing because they have 2 stalwart running backs in Denver. R.J. Harvey and to an extent, J.K. Dobbins, he might get hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an absolute miracle he didn't get hurt last year. I mean, we were just waiting for that lower body injury to take place, and it didn't take place.
It happened late in the season, very late. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets me. So Tony Pollard is nearing the age of 30, right? He's getting up there in the years, and he's been just banged up. And I think Singleton is the guy they picked up to kind of take the load off of Tony Pollard, and Tony Pollard quietly having 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season on a bad team. But because he's getting older, I think Singleton is getting ready to take that job. Mike Washington, I love Mike Washington. I liked him at the Senior Bowl. I liked him coming out of college. I liked his 40 time at the Combine. I liked everything about Mike Washington. He was my favorite running back coming out of the draft class. Mike Washington, I think he gets named and beats out Ashton Genty as RB1. I think we kind of got to look at Genty in a situation where he has been the bell cow. He was in Boise State. He was the bell cow in Boise State. He was Mr. Do-It-All in Boise State. He was all they had at Boise State. So he's damn near been a pro running back for the last X amount of years, taking the beating at Boise State that he would be taking at a pro level because he was the guy that was doing everything at Boise State. I mean, like, that's where I'm at. I feel like some of that tread has already been used up that he could have been using in the pros has already been kind of used up at Boise State. So I'm over here looking at Mike Washington, and I see this guy who runs so hard. He's so fast. He's so physical. Everything about Mike Washington, he screams workhorse back. I think he's going to take this job from Ashton Jeanty. I think he is more physical than Ashton Jeanty. I think he might be the better running back, and I really think that Mike Washington could take that job. Like you said, Jonah Coleman, look, Dobbins, he's got a history of injuries. I feel like the lower body injuries for J.K. Dobbins they're so common. They're just such a common thing for him. And R.J. Harvey, to me, isn't an RB1. He's a change of pace back. There's just a size issue there. Jonah Coleman's a nasty physical back. I like Jonah Coleman a lot. And then Katron Allen, dude. Katron Allen is a monster. He is an absolute monster. I don't understand how people are sleeping on Katron Allen, because the people are. They're sleeping on this kid, and nobody seems to be talking about him. Man, I love Katron Allen, and I could see him easily taking the job from Bill Krosky here. People got hyped about Bill Krosky. He had a couple big games, but man, Katron Allen, you want to talk a model of consistency? Yeah, Katron Allen's my dude here. I love Katron Allen. I could easily see him taking that job, especially the way he ran in college at Penn State. Dude, give me Katron Allen all day.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. He drafted round 6. Pick number 187.
Yeah.
And, we keep talking about these diamonds in the rough. I'm telling you what. I mean, if you're right about this, it's like, hey, we told you so. Or Scotty told you so. I mean, it's interesting. I want to see what happens.
Yep. Alex, your next one.
Okay. So I had to come up with this one on the spur of the moment, and I'll have the next one. But this one's interesting. So you know how we keep saying that there's a certain team out there, no matter what happens, they always seem to get richer. They always seem to get lucky. They always seem to pick up this guy. They always seem to get that guy. And it's not fair. But the Philadelphia Eagles will collapse early, no later than week 7, and will drop to third place in the NFC East.
Wow. The collapse begins in week 7.
Yeah, so let's see. If we're talking about the regular season, we're going to talk about their schedule. So that would mean that they're hosting the Dallas Cowboys at 8:15 p.m. on Monday. It's a Monday night football game. Hey, now it's starting to get a little more. They have to go through Washington, Tennessee. They play the Bears on Monday night. Then they got to play the Los Angeles Rams, Jacksonville, and then Carolina. So Chicago and Los Angeles will soften them up, and then Dallas for some reason in Philadelphia, Dallas is just going to have their number. And that's not to say that Philadelphia has a shiner's chance to really get back in this thing. But you have to understand, they're going back to Dallas in November for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And then they also have to host the Seattle Seahawks, the Houston Texans, and then they have to travel to San Francisco. On week 17. So. And they're already playing against New York in week 9. Their bye week isn't until week 10.
Yeah.
So they've got a pretty. I wouldn't say it's the most grueling schedule in the world, But it's not easy either. You got 9 straight games you got to deal with. And some of them are like, Sunday, Monday. It's not like you're going from Thursday. You're going from Thursday to the next Sunday or Sunday to the next Thursday. That Pittsburgh Dallas roll in close to Thanksgiving, that'll be challenging. So when they go to New York for week 18. Would you say that the New York Football Giants will fight for second place in the NFC East?
I think they could. I do think there could be a battle there, but I think I think it's ballsy to think that Philly's going to fall off in that fashion, but we've seen it in the past with teams like that where it's just like out of nowhere. The big
out of the division race and what like the 5 seed or the I think they were the 5 seed and then they got checked by the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
they had a first round exit. That was a collapse. I'm saying this will be worse.
You think they're just going to miss completely?
They'll swing and a miss. Third place in the division, and if you get third place in the NFC East, chances are you're not making it.
What did you say?
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. Man. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it happening, but man, it is ballsy. My last one, Alex, is a really big, really dumb, stupid parlay. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you because it is really big and really dumb and really stupid. But it does have to do with my Minnesota Vikings, and I saved it for last because it does have to do with my Minnesota Vikings, and it's my favorite. This one is entertaining as hell. So here's what we've got. This is a big stupid parlay brought to you by the Outside Blitz. Now, first of all, the Vikings will trade J.J. McCarthy no later than the trade deadline. We'll start there. I think that's happening. I think that's just Kyler Murray. It's going to be because they named Kyler Murray the starting quarterback to start the season, and Kyler Murray will finish top 7 in passing yards, passer rating, passing touchdowns. He'll be a top 5 quarterback in QB rushing yards, and he'll be the best quarterback in the NFC North. I think all of those things will happen. Now, on top of it, we're going to see Justin Jefferson have a bounce back year where he finishes in the top 3 in receiving yards and touchdowns. I think you're going to see that. And then on top of it, the Vikings will see this. This is where it gets fun for me. The Vikings will see SFA 5th round pick Charles Demings named as their CB3 before the end of the season. He'll be their corner number 3 before the end of the year. They will see Wake Forest 6th round pick Damon Claiborne become their RB1 before the end of the season. He is going to go from RB3 to RB1 before the end of the season. And then the big one, Georgia undrafted free agent Dylan Bell will be wide receiver 3 by the end of the season. All 3 will be named to those positions by the end of the year. That's what I'm rolling with. That's my big, stupid, idiotic, crazy parlay.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is a mouthful. But you know something? The J.J. McCarthy thing, 100%. I mean, the rose is already off the bloom. Kwesi got fired for his, wheeling and dealing and statistics over, it was friction on the team. And even Kevin O'Connell was like, this kid's a bust. This kid basically shit the bed. We've said forever today that J.J. McCarthy is a handoff merchant.
Yeah.
That's where he got his success from. Behind the great game, one of the best offensive lines in football.
Yep.
So he has not translated to the NFL, and they're going to drop him like a bad habit. But having those 3 players, Charles Demings, a Cannonball sleeper, Chris Bell.
Dylan Bell.
Dylan Bell.
Yes. No, Chris Bell is the one that went to Miami.
Aha. So I'm not completely stupid. and Dylan Claiborne. That's good.
Yeah,
Demond Claiborne.
Yeah, Demond Claiborne. Yeah. No.
It's a lot. But yeah, Claiborne being right, RB1.
RB1.
Of all things.
So
that's bold. That's very bold.
So here's my thought process. I like Charles Demings a lot. He was a man coverage corner. You recall, we were sitting there on day 3, and I said, man, I would really love to have Charles Demings right about now because we need a corner. And I was desperately saying, man, please God, get Charles Demings. And they wound up and got Charles Demings. He was probably, to me, he was the last quality corner sitting on the board that they should have picked up. I'm like, man, please God, how is he? Frankly, I didn't know how Charles Demings was still there. And the fact that he fell to the 5th round, and a lot of it's just because he went to a smaller school, I think. But, the fact that he was still there and they managed to get him, I was thrilled when they got Charles Demings. And then the Demond Claiborne pick, look, Aaron Jones is not a spring chicken anymore. He's getting up there. He's on the other side of 30. And then Jordan Mason, as much as I like Jordan Mason, he's on, I believe he's got a 1-year deal. He's a 1 year left on his contract at this point. And Jordan Mason does have a history of injuries. I see the way Demond Claiborne runs, and it reminds me so much of Dalvin Cook. And I see that and I go, wow, you get this kid outside the tackles and he's going to be a really special player. And to me, if he gets a little bit of space, the speed is there. He is a really good runner. I like Demond Claiborne a lot. A lot of people are going, oh, he might be a special teams contributor early on. Yeah, he might be. But I could see him being a big-time running back for this team and a playmaker, just a straight-up playmaker if he gets the right opportunity. But Dillon Bell has been a guy that not enough people have been talking about other than Vikings fans. He set the world on fire in training camp so far in OTAs. Dillon Bell out of Georgia, the numbers don't show how much promise this kid has. He's going to be a special teams contributor. He's going to be a kick returner. But as it currently stands, everybody has been talking about Dillon Bell. Everybody has been talking about how well he's done in camp. People have been saying, Dillon Bell, man, this kid is the truth. Everybody's been saying that he was the biggest standout from camp. People have been excited about him. He's been like, they always talk about the Mr. Mankato Award, is one of the awards that the unofficial awards people talk about. The best guy from the OTAs and training camp, Mr. Mankato, and Adam Thielen, I think, was Mr. Mankato. This guy should be this year's Mr. Mankato. I don't think there's any doubt. I think Dillon Bell, he's just a really good player that didn't get enough credit coming in and didn't get enough hype coming in. And I've seen the clips of this kid, in camp, and I'm fired up about Dillon Bell. I really like him a lot. I'm not very hyped up about Ty Felton, if I'm being honest. I know Juwan Jennings is a guy that a lot of people are excited to have in the room. Juwan Jennings, I like him a lot. He does have a little bit of a history of injuries, though. So there is a lot of opportunity for Dillon Bell to make his way up the depth chart and get those opportunities. So, I mean, just like Claiborne, the opportunities may present themselves for Dillon Bell. I could see Dillon Bell winding up in a situation where he has a shot here. So don't be surprised if you see him climbing the depth chart here. Charles Demings, though, he was my favorite draft pick of the bunch that the Vikings made. I mean, I love Charles Demings. So I'm excited about him. I really hope he winds up as a top corner moving forward. But that's my 5th bold prediction. Alex, you got your last one.
I do. So this one's a little scattershot and a little just off the cuff again. But I think it's a little interesting. So here's the deal. Justin Herbert will have a season-ending injury before the trade deadline.
Oh, no.
Number one. Oh, no. Travis. Yeah. Travis Kelce will retire before the end of the season.
Wow.
and a little kind of extra carrot, especially if the Chiefs miss the playoffs before week 16.
Wow.
I can't say that's going to happen, but I mean, like, but I'm thinking, like, somewhere along the line, he's just going to retire from football because he's got a huge ass income coming his way. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yep. The wedding of the century. I'm almost tempted to say it won't happen.
Oh man,
there's got to be pools. There's got to be pools in offices across the country that have. What's the what the odds you got for Taylor Swift breaking up with Travis Kelce? I got 3-1. I got 5-1.
Oh, it's so bad.
Does the relationship? What does the relationship finally go the distance? I mean, I'm not going to put it in this parlay, but I thought it'd be fun to mention.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce will retire before the end of the season, especially if the Chiefs miss the playoffs before week 16. And Caleb Williams will be a top 3 quarterback in the league with the Cardiac Bears.
Ooh, little parlay action.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty high ladder to climb, even as Caleb Williams really starting to climb the ladder. But I'm telling you, that kid balled out last year.
Now, top 3, are we talking in yardage? Are we talking in touchdowns? Are we talking in passer rating?
Let's say top 3. Sure, in passing yardage. And in touchdowns. But I look at it from the sense of when people start listing off their top 10 quarterbacks or top 5 quarterbacks by like the middle or the end of the season, people will be very quick to point out Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, but I think that Caleb Williams will replace Lamar Jackson.
Man,
like everybody keeps talking about like the holy trinity of quarterbacks: Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar. And Lamar will be replaced by Caleb Williams.
Wow, you like Caleb that much?
I mean, listen, he showed me something, in that playoff game against the Rams. That diving last second touchdown. And the fact that the Bears kept coming back in the fourth quarter. More times you can count, and the fact that he's grown and matured under the Ben Johnson system. Ben Johnson gets it, and we have seen the dividends paid.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, those are our bold predictions there. So. Yeah, we got spoilers. Yeah, so with that, that's our show, Alex. We've got this one is in the books. We're going to be this one will be posted on all of our platforms this upcoming Saturday morning. So if you actually want to listen to the podcast version of this, if you didn't get a chance to watch us live, you can go check out the podcast version of it. Or you can check out our Facebook page. You can check out our Twitch page. You can give us a follow on Twitch, or you can give us a follow on Twitch. You can give us a follow on X. You can give us a follow on Kick. You can give us a follow on Facebook, all that good stuff. YouTube, we're on YouTube these days, so you can check us out over there. Or you can listen to the recorded version. You can go to any of our platforms. We're going to end up posting it over there, so you can check us out. But before we get out of here, let's give a shout out to some of our sponsors. First of all, It's Your Time Massage. Amanda's a wonderful massage therapist, the best in the Metro Detroit area. In fact, if you want a massage, you got to check out It's Your Time Massage. Amanda is tremendous at what she does. You got to check it out, iytmassage.com, or you can check her out at It's Your Time Massage LLC on Facebook. Book yourself an appointment. And remember, folks, it's your time. Also, let's go ahead and talk about the artist formerly known as Big Willie Dubs Gaming, now known as No Shot Bot TTV. Will's doing some great stuff over on his channel. A lot of first-person shooters over there. Very entertaining dude. He is the gaming dad out there, I'll tell you what. But he doesn't just focus on the first-person shooters, man. He's also doing some other stuff. He does the Hot Ones Challenge. He does things like threatening to shave off his beard to harass his wife. He does all kinds of stuff, eating nasty jelly beans. It's a good time. Check it out. No Shot Bot TTV. And he's on a gaming team. Am I wrong there, Alex?
Yes, he is on what is called Team NVS. Get it? Envious. And also, folks, he is 10 followers away from 1,000 followers. He's sitting at 990. So if you are within the scope of my voice, and you are a fan of Twitch, you're a fan of gaming, go check this guy out, follow him. And take a look at all the people that he shouts out on his page. You'll be glad you did, and you will too.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find him, like you said, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. You can find him on any of those platforms, and give him a follow. Check him out. Also, Alex, what do you guys got going on over there at Steel Twins Gaming?
Well, I've got a question for you. Do you like video games? Do you like theater? The Steel Twins Gaming may just be what you're looking for. Whether it's the good old first-person shooter, RPG, or your favorite story-based adventure, what do you think? We have something for just about everyone. We've got everything you need to satisfy your digital cravings, whatever they may be. And best of all, our channel has something nobody else has: voice acting. Each week, my brother and I will play a game that has a lot of text-based dialogue, and we will act it out with the voices that come up in our heads for the characters you see on screen. Sometimes we do our best to highlight the drama of the situation. Other times we just goof off to have a good time. Either way, we're sure you'll be entertained. We are on every Saturday afternoon on or about 2:30 p.m. Follow us on Twitter at Steel Twins Alex to keep up to date on our shenanigans. And don't forget the brother channel, Steel Twins Andy. It is there that you will get your full fix of Nostalgic Mondays, Nintendo Tuesdays, FPS Wednesdays, Indie Thursdays, and Open World Fridays. I'm telling you, I know that one of the things we got to keep doing here is we got to get bad dudes on here.
Got to get bad dudes. Boots has been just screaming and pounding the table for bad dudes. He just wants bad dudes on that show. So you got to get it on there. Yeah. Also, let's talk books. Real quick.
The brother channel real quick. He's one follower away from 100. Somebody out there in the Twitcherverse, go follow this guy to get him over the hump. Yeah. You will not regret it. Not one bit. And anyway, so what are we talking about here?
Let's talk about books. I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash by Tammy Pruitt, a tremendous author. Listen, this is a great book. It's an inspirational guide written by Tammy Pruitt. It's based on her real life experiences dealing with body image and eating issues. And look, she shapes her book with her struggles and how to overcome them. It's supported with research-based facts and accompanied by her professional advice as a registered dietitian. And look, she lets others know they're not alone in struggling with self-love, body image, and disordered eating. Look, she is a scientist. She's got a degree in science, Alex. Science. But look, Tammy isn't your stereotypical health guru who runs 7 miles a day and judges people for the kind of unhealthy food they consume, although she is doing marathons these days, which is super cool. But instead, she's the friend you never had. She's the kind that encourages you and motivates you to rise above those dilemmas, and she takes you down memory lane and where life pitted challenges against her and what she did to get through them. And by giving you a glimpse into her struggles, she keeps a firm connection with the equally troubling and adverse lives of us readers. And also you get to learn just why she ate cookies out of the trash. It's a fantastic read. It's a great book. Look, she is awesome. Awesome person, awesome author. She is just phenomenal. I highly recommend this book. It's a great read. I have it myself. Got to check it out. I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash. You can get it on all the .coms. You got to check out Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Apple Books. You can get it out anywhere you get all the books on the .coms. You can get them. You can order on paperback. You can order digital copies. Check it out. I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash by Tammy Pruitt. Yeah, to have a nice read, and then you can reread. It's got rereadability, or you can put it on the shelf with the other ones and let it collect dust. That's up to you. But I highly recommend this book. But folks, that is our show. Now, like I said, next week we will not be live, so we will not have the Twitchverse out there and Twitterverse and all that good stuff watching our stream, but we will be doing a podcast. We'll have one in the can here, so we can throw it up there on Saturday morning, so you guys will be able to have a listen on all of our other audio platforms. So we'll have that for you. And then we'll be back LIVE live with the Bootleg Better on July the 11th. So we'll be able to jump on with him, and he'll be giving us his bold predictions. He'll be giving us his season predictor. We'll be talking around more news around the league. So with that, folks, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time right here on the Outside Blitz.
I bet you watch us again. And with that, we're gone.